Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Two illustrious parents of the school. There's an echo, Anilana. I suggest that two very illustrious parents of the school have chosen to present their interest and passion with us. They're both doctors by profession. Dr. Jayaprakash Patil runs his own hospital, and he is a gynecologist. And Dr. Shilpa Patil is a pediatrician. And they both have a passion for healthy habits among the young. This includes, for instance, Dr. Shilpa is very particular about the kind of food that children eat, the kind of activities they have. And Dr. Patil, in fact, hosts a number of cycling events and other activities in the town where he runs his hospital. So we are very, very happy that both of you are here, sir. And we look forward to your assembly. Thank you, and over
Thank
to
you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great opportunity. Akka, please allow me to share my screen so that I share my screen and start.
Yes, sir. We're just doing that. Yes.
Yeah.
I think you should be able to share now, sir.
Where do I get the option?
At the bottom of your screen, yes. There'll be a share button, I think.
No, actually, I'm not seeing that, sir. That's why. Usually, I do see a button here. Yes. Now there is one. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
1 minute. 1 minute. I'll do. Please give me just 1 minute. I'll open my presentation and then I'll share. Yeah, it should be visible by now, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay. First of all, namaste to everyone, all the parents, and hello to young children of Pathashala. I'll tell you why we landed up in this. When I came to drop Siddharth to school, and I noticed that, at least 50% of the kids appeared overweight to me. Because why I say appeared is because unless we weigh them and then, put their BMI, we cannot term them as overweight. So somehow as a parent, I was a bit alarmed by the amount of overweight incidents we have. And it is increasing alarmingly in our country. And I wrote an email to Sumitra Ka saying that, why don't we sensitize? When I said we, I meant everybody, all of us, children, I mean, the parents and the ELs of the school. But Akka took it as if I'm offering. She immediately wrote back saying that, why don't you do the session? So initially we were, a bit surprised, but then I discussed with Shilpa. We were very happy that, we could
JP
share.
Sir, your voice is very less.
Is it?
It's fine for us at the school. It's fine for us.
It's fine as well. It's fine as well.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'll try to speak a little louder. So then we took this opportunity. Whatever we do for our especially younger child, Aniket, and we went ahead and then did little bit research. She had to reread her book. She is the pediatrician. Ideally, she should be presenting, but she's not very comfortable presenting. So she has thrust this on me, and she has done most of the work, but I'll be doing the talking. I hope it is okay. Okay. So I have taken the liberty to change the topic because the topic looked little, intimidating. So I just wrote it very simple. Childhood obesity, what we should know and do. When I say all of us, parents, the teachers, the children, all of us, because it's a collective responsibility. So here we go. So what are the objectives of this session? We have tried to be as less academic as possible. I have tried to keep it very simple and more informal way of discussion rather than going with a lot of formulae or a lot of charts and all that. So at the same time, we have tried to keep it informative and useful. Okay. So the idea is to sensitize the children and parents and suggest some of the initiatives what we can do to see that a child doesn't become overweight or obese. So a disclaimer: it's not going to be a complete guide because time is too short, and then we always have to individualize the child. And whatever we are discussing, they are general guidelines. Okay, so it should not be taken as a child-specific recommendation and do it. So we advise whenever required to consult a pediatrician or a dietitian, whichever is appropriate. Sometimes you may even require to consult endocrinologist. So basically, the awareness about obesity, is not very often noticed in parents, because whenever we say child can be overweight, they just deny. They said no. So basically, obesity most of the time either is blamed on the genetics or so-called the body type. They said no, he is like that since his childhood. So it's basically direct result of inactivity and poor food choices. Unless we are dealing with hypothyroidism or a Cushing syndrome or some of the endocrinological problems, most of the time it is because of these two things: inactivity and poor food choices. Now this meme is, somebody says the problem is that obesity runs in our family. They say no, the problem is that no one runs in your family. So basically, sometimes we see both the parents and all the children are overweight. And if you go through, you may easily blame on their genetics, saying that, oh, listen, probably they have this problem. But most of the time, it is that the whole family is not aware of the importance of being physically active, and also about the food choices we have to make to check our weight under control, and also the importance of maintaining a normal weight. Now, what is basically obesity? Obesity is the excessive accumulation of the body fat. Okay. Now, there are a lot of definitions and a lot of ways of measuring obesity. Like, sometimes they take only the skin fold thickness. Sometimes they take the waistline, the midriff waistline, and the weight and the height adjusted to age and so many things. Basically, in all this, whatever formula you use, it is at the end of the day, it is the excessive body fat accumulation. Now, prevalence it has become an epidemic. Basically, we were just thinking that the obese children are only there in Western countries. No, in our country, it is become an epidemic, and the prevalence is very fast increasing, especially after the pandemic. There are so many studies, especially by Indian Association of Pediatrics. They saw that the obesity has increased alarmingly in this COVID pandemic. Okay, in these last 2 to 3 years. And it is estimated, probably these are old figures, that in urban areas, almost 1 in 4 children are obese, and in rural areas also catching up very fast. Now, the incidence of obesity in children is almost 9%. That is 1 in 10 children is overweight or obese. Okay, it's really alarming. And as a child, I remember like, when we were in primary school or in the high school, there used to be in a class of 60, probably 1 or 2 children who were overweight. Like, we used to, tease them like Motu and all that. I was thinking to recollect, but then now almost 1 in 4, 1 in 5 children are obese in urban areas. Now, when I came to Pathashala, and obviously because most of them belong to affluent family background, probably incidence is much higher. So as the affordability increases, the obesity incidence is also increasing. Okay, I'll be coming to in subsequent slides. So it is an alarming situation for us to recognize and act upon, because time is clicking. And I do get a lot of adolescent girls as a gynecologist. They come with menstrual irregularities, or there is a sudden weight gain in few last months, and then there will be something called as acanthosis nigricans. That is a sign of insulin resistance. There is a darkening of the skin, and when we do the weight and the height, and when I suggest parents that she is overweight, they become very defensive. No, she doesn't eat at all. No, she does everything. Then they feel I am body shaming. It is not the thing. When we face the situation head on, when we have to be aware that, listen, my child can be overweight, my child can be obese, then we start acting. If you don't accept at all that the problem is there, then we will not obviously act. So, and another misconception is that overweight children are depicted as happy children. Everybody would like to touch their cheek, and then child also seems to enjoy, but it's not true. There are serious studies on this. Actually, the obese children have a lot of psychological problems. Okay, so there is overall perception that it is okay to be obese. They don't even use the word obese. They say it is a healthy child. Okay, my daughter is healthy. This is what they want to believe. When I say your child is obese, in the category of obese or morbidly obese, they become very, very offended. The purpose is not that. Even I want to reiterate here also that there is no blame game going on. I'm only concerned as a parent, and this is what we want to bring in the awareness about. And all parents feel that their child eats very less. What they don't consider is that what kind of snacks the child is eating, and what kind of beverages it is eating. Are we even aware what kind of calories the beverage or the food which child is consuming? These are all the things we need to be aware. It is not just that, okay, he eats only one roti and little rice, but what happens after that? He drinks one full glass of Coca-Cola, or some juice, or he eats pani puris, he eats other things. So these are all the things we need to counter in to understand what is the actually calorie input. Okay, this is what it is. So parents need to be aware what a child is actually eating and how much it is actually required. Now, don't get really intimidated by this formula. It is very simple. Whenever we want to calculate the body mass index, or in short, it's called as BMI, we all know that we have to weigh the weight of the child in kgs, okay, and divided by height in meters. For example, a child is 150 centimeters, so it becomes 1.5 centimeter, and you square it. So whatever you get is a BMI of the child, or even for adult person. Now in adults, it's very easy. Okay, once you cross 18 plus, okay, you have a fixed chart where less than 18 BMI is underweight. Between 18.5 to 24.5 or 9, that is 25, is considered normal. And from 25 to 30 is considered overweight. 30 to 35 is called obese class 1, and 35 to 40 is considered class 2 obesity. and more than 40 BMI is called morbidly obese or extremely obese. Okay, this is very simple in adults, but now when it comes to pediatric, to children, it becomes a bit complicated. Why? Because we have to factor in both for females, for female child and a male child, and also because they are growing, we need to plot according to the age. Okay. Now these bodies like Indian Association of Pediatrics, or there's a body called CDC or WHO, they have prepared these charts. Even the World Health Organization, they have prepared charts for each ethnic group. Okay, because we cannot compare an Indian child to a Caucasian, that is somebody in Europe or Africa. Those growth potentials of each child is different. So they have prepared these charts, and it is easily available on the web. Now you have to Google saying that the BMI chart for Indian male child. Now you get it. Okay. Now we have to put the BMI in these charts. Now there are different charts for boys and girls, and just go back to this because this is more this thing. Now it is plotted as percentiles, not the percentage. Okay, percentiles we all know, where for the whole community, taking so many big sample size, they have depicted less than this 5th percentile is underweight and more than 95% is the overweight. They have plotted the weights of so many thousands of children for that appropriate age, and they have plotted this. Now less than 5 percentile is always underweight. Okay. In fact, even underweight is not something which we have to be very happy about. We have to think of ways where child comes to normal range. For example, Siddharth himself was a bit underweight before going to Pathashala. We are very happy that now his eating habits have improved, and now he is under normal range. Okay, unless we plot them in the chart, we will not know whether he is in normal range or abnormal range. Now more than 85 percentile is considered the overweight, and more than 95 is considered obese. Now not just that, remember, one dot in the graph chart will not depict anything. We have to plot the child every 3 months, or if not so, at least every 6 months, to see the curve. If he's going, he or she, when I say he, please don't take it even she, I mean, when the child is going along the curve, it is great. If there is a plot is going up, that means that the child is going towards the overweight category. Okay, so that is also important. How we see the graph. If it is along the curve, it is great. If it is arrow up, that means that the child is probably going to become overweight, or if the arrow is down, probably he is losing weight. Okay, so this is how we plot. Okay, but there are simple methods. Okay, if this BMI chart looks too complex, it is not complex, to be very honest. There is something called as Weeds formula, where you can see up to 1 year, from 3 months to 1 year. So you calculate age in months plus 9 divided by 2. Okay, that is the thing. And for 1 to 6 years, what should be the weight? It is age in years into 2 plus 8. Okay. Now the disadvantage of these charts is that it doesn't give you a range. Okay. When you feel, for example, the expected weight is 20. What if the child is 22? You may feel, oh, my child is 2 kgs up. Not necessarily. So it is better to plot it in a chart rather than going this. But then this will give you a rough idea if the child is overweight or obese. Now there is another even very simple formula. Just calculate the age in, if for 1 year the child has to be around 10 kilo. If it is 3 years, 15 kgs. For 5 years, 20 kilo. It's a rough guide. Okay, it's again a very rough guide because we have to factor in the age, not just the age, but also the height part. But then at least to make you aware that whether the child is somewhere near the accepted range or not. Okay, let's move on. Now, let us address why our children are becoming overweight. Okay. Now, as I said, when we were children, when we were going to school, the incidence was pretty less. Okay. So many things have happened in this probably 30 years. Okay. There is a huge change in the kind of food children are consuming. Okay. Now, we did not have television in our childhood. So the moment we come from school, we used to throw our school bag and go to play. That's all we had. We did not, and once we come back, we were forced to sit and study. Okay, that's all we had. We didn't have so-called the screen time. Okay, we didn't have no screen. Okay, only the curtains we had. So the problem is now there is so much of change. One is the food has changed. Second thing, our children are glued to the screens, so they don't go out and play. And another few factors have happened. We have moved into a nuclear families where only one or two child norms, so they don't have company to play. Okay. We used to have a lot of cousins at home where, we never complained that we don't have a company. So many things have changed. Okay, I'll be coming to that more detailed discussion on that. And of course, I cannot say that it's always because of the food or the physical inactivity. There are genetic factors. If you feel the child is not responding to your interventions, we need to take a consultation and prove that it is genetic rather than any health related, and also some of the endocrinological causes, like I said, hypothyroidism or Cushing syndrome or something like that. Also, some of the medications the child may be taking may also cause increase in weight. Okay, of course, these things which I'll not be discussing because it is out of the scope of this talk. I told you the food habits have changed. Okay, there is increased affordability for the family. Okay, now in our days, eating in a hotel was almost like a sin. Okay, if you have a home and then you go out and eat even a idli in a hotel was considered a sin. Like, why would you go to a hotel? Okay, because we cook everything at home. Unless you're traveling, you go to some other town. Only there we were allowed to eat dosa or idli or anything in the hotels. But now what has happened? Now eating out has become a fashion. And also because both the parents are working most of the cases and they have become very busy in their lives and they don't cook they may not be able to cook all 3 meals. So they may be, tempted to pay money, give the money to the child and ask the child to eat outside. Of course, this is not the case in Pathashala, but in many other schools where the child goes as a day scholar, there the child eats his breakfast or her breakfast or lunch in the canteen. Now there the problem is you don't have any control. Okay. The other part is now you can just order whatever you like with things like Zomato or Swiggy. You don't even have to go to restaurant. You just order, it comes. You order a pizza, it comes in 30 minutes. You order whatever, French fries, it comes in 30 minutes. Okay. So amenities also have improved dramatically. For good or bad, that is up to us to take, but then it is made available. Another aspect I just want to impress upon the children is, why is that junk food more tasty than the food cooked at home? Have you ever thought about it? It is because of the additives which they have added. There are many harmful chemicals which are so-called the food additives. Okay, they are put in the guise of food additives. Okay, which makes they are also called as taste enhancers, put in the processed food to make it more tasty. That's number one. Number two, the overall salt content, overall sugar content of the you take any junk food, no matter what, is pretty high. And that is why it is also makes an addiction. Okay. Sugar can cause addiction. We don't know. Nobody told us that sugar can cause addiction. How does it cause? I'll take 1 minute to explain. Whenever we take a sugary food, the food which is high in sugars, it may be jaggery also. When I say sugar, not necessarily sugar alone, even jaggery, whatever you take, there is a surge in glucose level to the brain. Okay, so brain get used to that sugar level. Okay, brain loves glucose, and when sugar level is brought down by the insulin, brain senses that, I want to get more and more sugars. Okay, what it does, it activates the hunger hormones. So then you start feeling something, butterflies in your tummy, and then you eat. So this cycle continues and continues. But what is happening? You are eating, but you are not spending that calories which you have taken. Okay, so what insulin does, insulin, you all know, is secreted by pancreas, right? So pancreas is overworking to increase the insulin secretion. Insulin puts everything, all the excess glucose as fat. Simple. Okay, it works very hard, so your tummy starts growing. Okay, this cycle continues and continues unless we interfere, unless we consciously make an effort not to give that the glucose surge to our brain. This goes on and on and on. Okay, and this one thing is for the parents. Okay, parental love is not buying the pizza or burger. Okay, we think that, okay, listen, as a child, I did not have these amenities. I did not know what pizza was, what burger was, but then at least let my child enjoy. Now I have money. My parents were not that rich. This is not real love. We all are aware. We have to be aware of the ill health it can cause. Okay, there are so many ways we can show love to our children. Okay, I want to tell children also, there are so many ways your parents love you, but buying or denying you pizza doesn't mean that they hate you. Okay, this is a very clear message. Okay, and I said there is an ignorance about the harms of the junk food, and we slowly are forgetting our traditional, tasty, nutritious recipes. Okay, I mean, I'm not blaming on the social structure, but that's how the life is. Because my mother used to spend so much time in the kitchen. Obviously, my wife cannot spend because she has other responsibilities. So these tasty traditional foods, which are unique to so many in India, every 50 kilometers, the taste of the food changes. It changes, but then we are slowly losing that that flavor. Most of us did walk to school, our generation people, or we cycled in our high school. But now children are either dropped in the personal vehicles or they go by the school bus. So there is hardly any walking. Okay, so they travel in vehicles basically. So that amount of walking, whatever 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer per day is gone. Okay, and I already told, most of the children are glued to the screens, so they don't play outdoor games. They play cricket on the video games. They play football in the computers, but ideally they should be playing in the playground. Okay, and now this is a serious concern, not just by me, but what I meant to say is by the authorities. There is a early gratification, the tendency to have an early gratification in children. What I mean by that is, they want to play that video game then and there itself, and they get that happiness. They want to watch a video or scroll a short, what is called as, and they feel happy. And these apps, they have designed these videos, and the video games are designed in such a way that child spends more and more time there. So he plays. So someone was telling the other day, I did not understand. Uncle, I have reached 13th level in some particular game. I didn't understand. I was thinking that he or she is talking about some physical game. No, they have made levels in these video games where you want to play and reach to 5th level, 6th level, 7th level. Even if you reach the top, nothing happens. You all know, children, nothing happens. What happens? The same thing, if you can run 100 meters in, say, you used to run in 15 seconds, but if you can run in 10 seconds, you will get a Olympic medal. Okay. This is what is the difference. Okay. And I already covered this. We are in nuclear families. There is not much company to play. We as parents, fortunately not in Pathashala parents, but in many other, I see a lot of my friends, there is a lot of pressure on the child to study more and not engage in the play. Okay. So children are not allowed to, not encouraged to go out and play. We live in apartment. Unless we make an effort for all the children to come together and play in the evening, whenever after the school or whatever, they will remain to the screen. They will remain in the screen. So we also have to blame for this, because we are not encouraging our children to go out and play physical games. I meant to say, not the video games. So we want them to only study. But many studies have, many very beautiful studies have shown that the child who is physically active, who plays at least 60 minutes per day, has more cognitive capacity than the child who is physically inactive. So let us be very clear about that. So physical activity will make your child more brighter. Okay, not the other way around. So you don't want to save the time of the child by not allowing to play. Okay. And the last, not the least, we also have become very inactive. I mean, our generation, very few are into any sport. Very few of us go for a regular walk. Very few of us, I'm talking even among the doctors. They know, it's not that they don't know, but then they don't act. They don't go for a jog. They don't go for a walk. They do nothing. So obviously the child perceives this as a approval. My both parents don't do anything, so it must be normal not to be physically active. So we need to be very, very role model. I'll be coming to that slide again. We know the cause now. Why should we be worried? It's okay, child to be overweight, or is it okay to be child to be obese? What is the problem? The immediate effect or the first hand problem what we have with a obese child is there is a hindrance in the daily activities. He or she will not be able to run as fast as the other children. He or she will not be able to climb the stairs as better as other children. So overall, it deprives the child of the quality of life. Okay. And there are emotional and psychological concerns. And of course, the chronic health risks like hypertension and diabetes. I'll be going through one by one. As I said, the child will not be able to do physical activities. I'll just give you one very coarse example. What happens in a football, let us presume? Because the child will not be able to run fast, most of the time, these children are made goalkeepers. Okay. Now everybody will tell him, no, yeah, you can't run, please go and stay there. This is just course, a very simple example. Okay. And same thing in cricket also. If you are playing cricket, You will not be able to run and do the proper fielding. Neither you will be given bowling, nor you will be either you will be wicket keeper, or whenever your turn is, you will be doing the batting. So simple things like that. And there is decreased energy levels, and they get fatigued very fast. This has been proven. And these children do have increased health problems. Let it be a respiratory infection, let it be other problems, even the musculoskeletal problems. They are prone to injury. Okay. So these are the immediate effects. So child goes through a kind of vicious cycle. Imagine there is a healthy child. He or she is either addicted to the video games, or she is only studying, or he or she eats a lot of high fatty food or high calorie food. So the child becomes mildly obese children, or the overweight child. So as I said, he or she will not be able to climb or walk or run as much as the other children. So that becomes moderately obese, and exercise becomes uncomfortable. He cannot run. So he prefers the jobs which are like allows him to stay at one place. That pushes him to the severe obesity. Okay. This is a vicious cycle. Now that child, out of 3 children who are overweight in childhood, they have risk of continue as a adult obese person. I mean, out of 3, there are 2 persons will continue as the obese adults. And obese adults have higher incidence of asthma, diabetes, hypertension, so many other problems. Okay. This is a vicious cycle we are talking about. And I already addressed, there may be, not necessarily all children have, there may be low self-esteem and body image issues. I'm very sure in Pathashala, we are very sensitive about the body shaping or anything, but it is not the case in all schools. Okay. So there may be discrimination against that child. Okay. The child may be bullied. The child may face depression. Okay. The child may have anxiety, and sometimes they have eating disorders. Okay. There are 2 eating disorders which I just want to mention, not to go into the details. There is something called as bulimia nervosa, and there is something called as anorexia nervosa. Okay, the interested parents can just Google it. Okay, these are 2 different spectrum of eating disorders. Child may have these psychological problems. Okay, so what are the chronic problems of childhood obesity? I already told. The child may develop hypertension, that is a BP, what is called as diabetes, that is a sugar problem. Child may continue to have joint and musculoskeletal problems. I already said they are more prone to injury. They may have more respiratory problems, okay, because the lung doesn't expand as much as it should in a non-obese person. And as a gynecologist, it is very concerned for me. I'm seeing girls as young as 9 years, 10 years attaining menarche, which is not very good. The trend is going down and down. Just 1.5 decades ago, when I started my practice, the number of children who used to come to our OPD with early menarche was pretty less. But now I get almost weekly 2 to 3 parents bringing their 5th standard, 6th standard child to the clinic, saying that child has attained menarche and she's bleeding heavily, she's having cramps, so many things, which is definitely not a good trend. Okay. So this is the spectrum which says what problems an obese child can have. Okay. So I told from pancreas to stomach to bones to hormones to gallbladder stones to liver, everything is overworking, is doing overtime in obese children, and they have problems associated with that. Let us not go into too much detail about that. I already told children who are overweight are far more likely to remain overweight as adults compared to children with a healthy weight through adolescence. It's almost 2 in 3 children will continue as obese adults. So what can we do? Now let's come to intervention part. Okay. Now I'll be addressing sometimes children and sometimes parents, and I mean it is shuffling because I could not differentiate completely, because some interventions children themselves have to do and some parents can help them. Okay, I'll be addressing both, I mean combined. We have to break that vicious cycle. Okay, so stop the calorie intake. It's called calorie deficit. Okay, so you basically spend more than what you consume. Okay, a physical activity, whether it's running, swimming, cycling, whatever, playing, does spend calorie, right? At the same time, we have to decrease the calorie intake. So what it does is it creates a demand in the body for more calories. Where does the body take more calories from? From the fat, because it is being deposited by us. It's like a bank. We have put extra money in the bank. So body has stored fat in our abdomen. So that will be spent whenever you do the deficit, right? And most important, children, especially when you go home, please do reduce your screen time. Not more than an hour a day. Okay, not more than, you can't be watching a television or anything for more than an hour a day. Okay, whenever your parents insist, please do listen to them. Even if they don't insist, it's your responsibility to reduce your screen time to less than an hour per day. Okay, and please do involve in to increase your physical activity. Go and play. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to go to a trained sessions. You don't have to. That is all for adults. You are in such a beautiful age where you just go and play, enjoy with your friends. Okay, you do whatever you like. You like playing football, please do. You like basketball, play. You like badminton, play. Whatever you like, you please do. Okay, I'll be coming to little more than that, how to do that. And this is for parents. We need to be role models. I can't be Coach Potato and tell my child that, okay, you go and do cycling, you don't go and do running, you do this. So we have to be role model ourselves. We need to indulge ourselves in a physical activity, something, whatever you do, where children can see and learn. Okay, and we also have a moral responsibility, saying that as a parent, as a father, that, okay, listen, I also do that, why don't you do that? Okay, we have a moral upper hand to say this, and discuss about the health. Whenever the child, you feel, okay, child can be obese, you discuss, listen, I feel you can be overweight, how you think we can reduce the weight? We can discuss with the child, or we can discuss in the family. Okay, and we as parents need to reduce the screen time ourselves. Okay, I love watching cricket, but then, since my both children started growing up, and then we thought we need to reduce our screen time. We have stopped television. Very less television I watch. So we have done that, both of us. So unless we do, we don't have anything to tell our children. Okay, and we need to commit ourselves to some regular exercise. Whatever you like, maybe go for a walk, jog, play badminton, go cycling, whatever likes you. Okay, and whole family, we need to do something, a physical activity. I don't know, maybe going for a trek, maybe going for a walk once in a while, not necessarily every day, because all of us may have a different interests. But then once in a while, we can come together and do one sport together. Okay, now let us go to some recommendation as far as food preparation is concerned. Just see the time now, because I should not overshoot. Only 15 minutes left, no? Yeah, okay. So we need to reinvent the traditional nutritional and tasty foods. Okay, so we need to involve children and ask them to be innovative as far as preparing the food is concerned, which makes the food both tasty and healthy. Okay. And it's a request to all parents and also to children to reduce the outside food to not more than a month, not more than once a month. Okay. I mean, once a month may be fine because you want to explore food, it's fine, but not more than that. Okay. We as parents can organize a potluck lunch or potluck dinners where we discuss among ourselves to bring only traditionally prepared food, not to buy the food. So children will taste, a rice from somebody's house, or a rasam or a dal from somebody, chapati from somebody. So then, it makes it more interesting. So they may like to do this kind of activity. It's very important, especially for children, to have a healthy breakfast. Okay. What happens is, if the children don't have a healthy breakfast, so they tend to have hunger pains by noon. Okay. So this is physiological. It's not something, this thing. It's physiological to be hungry by 12 noon. If you don't eat well in the morning, so what do? You have craving to eat something. So as I already said, what gives you more gratification? High sugar content foods give you more gratification because your brain is asking for glucose. So you tend to snack, which is again harmful for our health. So it is very important for children to have a healthy breakfast. Pathashala, I am sure Sumitraka told in the assembly that day when we dropped you all that, it is, Pathashala is making a lot of efforts to involve a lot of millets and pulses. I'm very happy for that. And whenever a child wants a snack, we can have an healthy alternatives. Instead of chocolate, we can offer them dates. Instead of some burger or something, we can offer them the salted nuts. Okay. We can offer them salads, fruits, which is innovatively prepared and made tasty. It can be made tasty, I'm sure. Okay. And instead of Pepsi or Coke or other beverages which contain very high sugars, we can prepare a homemade juice, which is a practice in Pathashala, I'm sure. Or the best actually is not to add any additives, even the jaggery or sugar. Encourage them to eat whole fruits, which will be absolutely beautiful. But then at least homemade juice should be okay. So let us talk a little bit about the food pyramid. Okay. We need to take more protein and complex carbohydrates in a higher quantity. That should be formed our base, and the vegetables and fruit should constitute the next level, and the high protein content like eggs, meats, and fishes should be in a moderate quantity, and processed food ideally should be no, but maybe very sparingly you can allow them. Okay, I'll be going through a little more faster because I think we are running out of time. So it's one beautiful picture. Shilpa found it in the internet. It's like a traffic light, red light, yellow light, and green. So, fruits, vegetables, legumes, low-fat milk, high protein content, lean meat, they are okay. You can consume. Whereas you have to be judicious with a full-fat milk or breads, or where the complex carbohydrates may be less. And you reduce as much as possible, or say stop to sweets, desserts, fast food, and high fat meal or meat substitutes. This is how ideally our plate should look like. 50% of our plate should be ideally vegetables and fruits, and 25% should be protein, and 25% should be fiber rich carbohydrates, not the simple carbohydrates. Okay, I'll not go to the detail of this chart. This tells that how much calorie is required according to age group. Okay, because this you can get it in the charts in the Google. You may find out for for the age group you are dealing with. You may have this much calories, and we can find out the calorie, how much calorie each food contains. It is already there. So please go through that. So some of the tips I'll be sharing both to children and parents. Okay. Please do not store any processed food and beverages in our refrigerator, including biscuits, cookies, chocolates, Coke or whatever. Please do not store, because if you have storage, it is natural for the children to ask for it. And we will also not be able to resist the temptation of not offering this to children. Okay, so avoid storage. If at all you require at one time, just bring only that much quantity and consume and finish it off. Okay, that's how it should be. And another thing I just want to tell, rewarding children for whatever good deed they have done with the junk food should go. For example, you finish your homework, I'll get you a pizza. You do this, I'll give you a burger. Okay, this should go. Or you tell them, like if you don't do this, I'll make you eat only this or whatever, like sabji chapati or to eat. I will not buy you this. So what is happening is child is associating the junk food with the reward and the healthy food with the punishment. Okay, we should never do that, consciously or subconsciously. Okay, and we should discourage children while eating, watch television, or while watching television or mobile eating, because what happens is they don't enjoy the food, their taste buds don't get trained, they don't realize the taste, it is evolving, and they don't even know how much they are consuming. So whenever eating, sit with the family and maybe you talk, you discuss something, but no watching television, no watching phones. Okay, and we should have at least one meal of the day together, because as I said, we go to office, we go to hospitals, and child usually goes to school very early morning. So make sure that at least either dinner or breakfast you have together. So it's very important to drink adequate water at a regular interval, because what happens is if you don't drink water, the thirst can be confused for hunger by the brain. Okay, so that is why we need to adequately drink water, especially in sultry conditions like Pathashala, where there's a lot of humidity. So it's recommended that at least an hour before your major meal, you consume at least 1 glass of water. That aids in the digestion of the food, and that aids in the salivation, which is very important, because you can't be very thirsty and your mouth is dry and then you want to go and have food directly. Okay, and the recommendation is to eat salads before starting your main meal, like that's a roti or dal or whatever, or rice. Okay, and another recommendation is to finish off your dinner as early as possible, maybe by 7 o'clock, if not maybe 8 o'clock. Don't take late dinners, because what happens is our body wants to wind up and sleep, and whatever excess calories we have accumulated goes directly and gets directly converted to the liver. So still, when you are physically active, you have to finish your dinner, and reduce or avoid munching before the major meals. Like it may be like eating a chocolate or whatever snack in between, and then again sit with it. So this intermeal snacks, if possible, should be avoided, especially in obese children. And I just want to tell a bit controversial topic. Ideally, we should stop giving milk to children, because the enzyme lactase, which digests the milk, dramatically reduces after the age of 4. Okay, so instead of milk, we can offer them curds and buttermilks, because that is being actually by the bacteria, it is being converted. Now it is more easily digestible. Okay, so this is one recommendation I may have to tell the school. And please try to reduce overall sweet and simple carbohydrates. Okay, that is a maida is simple carbohydrate. Okay, it's a processed carbohydrate. Try to reduce, and try to reduce the highly polished rice. Okay, that also and then include more and more of the millets and traditionally available food. Like, in our place, we eat a lot of jawar. Jawar is our staple diet. And in South Karnataka, they eat a lot of ragi. So we need to go back to our traditional foods as much as possible. And the packed so-called whole fruit juices also contain additives, even though they claim that it's 100% fruit. No, it doesn't contain 100% fruit. It does contain sugar. It does contain preservatives. It does contain taste enhancers. I'm sorry. So fresh fruit juice has no alternative. Try to avoid these so-called real and so many packs which come in Tetra packs. Try to avoid those juices. And we need to make a habit of serving the food in smaller plates. What happens is serving, it gives a visual impact on the child that, I'm eating plate full. If you take a large plate, so he or she may be feeling that I'm eating very small quantity, so may demand for another. This is also being proved with studies that it is better to serve the food in a smaller plates. And it's very important to have adequate sleep. All children should sleep at least for 8 hours. Of course, there is a recommendation how much they should sleep depending on the age group. I'll not go into the details of that. So we should encourage at least 1 to 2 hours of play or physical activity per day. We need to take a lot of efforts now to find children and organize their get-togethers and games. It is, the onus is on us. Okay. And as I already said, we have to participate as a whole family in some sport. Okay. And children usually, they play cricket for some time and they may decide to go to badminton, and after 2-3 months he says, no, I'm bored of badminton, I want to go to swimming. It is okay, unless a child is pursuing a serious sport as a career. For most children, it is okay to change as long as he keeps himself busy. Physically active for at least 1 to 2 hours a day. It's okay. Okay. If he walks to school, if he wants to cycle, it's absolutely fine. Okay. Just pay attention to this slide. All these pictures which are there in the yellow box, they are basically cardiac exercises. Okay. They help to burn the fat, burn the calories. Okay. Like playing a football, cycling, swimming, running, all these things. We should also have to encourage children to do little weight training, not necessarily do dumbbells, like just climbing a stair whenever you have this thing, or skipping, or workout if there is a gym, and simple things like dancing. So these things give a muscle strength, which is also very important. Okay. So sit less, move more. Whenever there is a opportunity to just go for a small walk, just go for a small walk and come back. Okay. So this is, sorry for posting a personal photo. This is a cycle ride we took in last visit of Siddharth, where we rode for 25 kilometers. So all 4 of us went for a jolly ride. Okay. So what does the physical activity does? It burns the fat. It reduces your risk of chronic diseases, like I said, hypertension, diabetes, and it increases your muscular strength and bones, increases the fitness and gives you a very healthy feeling. It's called euphoria. And it gives you good balance and coordination and builds the core skills, okay, in whatever you do. So having a sport is very important to have a good cognitive skills also. So I'll be coming to children, what you can do. Okay. So please involve yourself in physical games than the virtual games. So go out and play. Okay. Avoid eating while watching the TV and eat healthy. Please do not demand a junk food from your parents. And don't think that just because your parents are denying junk food, they don't love you. It's not the message you should carry. And do discuss with your parents, okay, and help them to prepare healthy food. Create an sense of awareness at home about the healthy diet, healthy activity. And you may do, because you do a lot of projects, I was just thinking, why don't you do a project on reinventing traditional? You ask your grandmoms if they are willing to give a recipe of some dish which is very unique to your area. Do something like that, okay? And then you may discuss with your parents to reinvent that dish, okay? And what we can do as parents, take time to think about child's health. My wife objected for this line. She said, everybody thinks about their children. Of course we do. But then what I meant think constructively. Are we doing the right thing? Are we in a right path? Do we need to do anything different? Okay. We can do quarterly weight checks for our children when they come back from the school. And we need to take efforts to plot them in the chart for their height and for their age. And we need to be role model ourselves, okay? And we need to be innovative in our approach to healthy ways. That is cooking healthy, staying active, so many things. How we can squeeze in our busy schedules. We need to be innovative, okay? And the most important gift we can give to our children is to play with them, okay? Take them whatever, like, if child enjoys swimming, take a child to a swimming. If child enjoys badminton, please take it, play TT with the child, like that. And whenever required, if you feel there are concerns, you need to consult a pediatrician or a dietitian or endocrinologist as and when it is appropriate. And I just added this line as a last, as an afterthought. What is happening is the TV commercials, ads are made in such a imposing way to our children that it is made to look beautiful. For example, Complan or Boost, or it's made to show that it's a very healthy to do things. No, it is not. We need to explain to our children that these TV ads have an ill intention. They just want to sell. They don't care. They don't really care about your health. This is the honest reality. Okay, our own traditional food is much more nutritious than what a Boost or a Complan or anything can give. Okay, this we need to discuss with kids. What teachers can do, of course, same as parents. I don't have a definition, but I think if we can plot BMI charts in the school, that will be great. And we need to engage children in more and more physical. Of course, the school is already doing, I can't complain. They do a lot of walking in a day. They do a lot of playing. So I'm happy about that. And maybe we need to encourage more healthy recipes, both from experts and parents. So thank you. I think I have stuck to my time. Maybe I overshot. Sorry for that. If at all there are any questions, I am ready to take Akka. Sorry for overshooting the time.
Thank you, sir, for such a wise talk. I don't think you overshot time at all, sir. You have another 10 minutes. So
okay, thank you. So I would love if children want to interact with me, with us, rather. Any questions, anything they want to ask, I will try to solve their queries.
Would you like to share what you feel? Yes, Virinchi.
I think what was really inspiring to me was that everything that you were talking about, doctor, almost all the things you also personally practice, you also personally taking it forward in your own way. And I think that was really inspiring to me. And I think, and the suggestions which you gave, they also were very helpful, and it wasn't like something only that we need to so anyone can take those forward. And I think that was really great.
Thank you.
So in this assembly, I got that the kids should be like hygienic. The kids should not like always be on screen more than 1 hour, or just eat junk food like so much. And that's what I got from the assembly.
Thank you, Bata. Thank you.
So like now a lot after this assembly, a lot of things seem to be clear for me now. Initially in my home, it's a tradition that when you're very young, just take in as much as you can. Just that you just eat a lot, you're just healthy. But now, even children or young people can be in risk of very uh, very dangerous diseases. So yeah, thank you for this.
Yeah. 1 minute, Akka. I just forgot to tell one more point. Sorry. See, whenever especially for our younger child, Aniket, whenever we tell our friends that we are restricting him about the high sugary food and all that because he's overweight, they think, hey, what are you doing? He's only a child. Let him eat whatever he likes. Later he will reduce. No, that is not the case. That is not the case. It's not that children are okay to be overweight now and so that they'll reduce tomorrow. No, as I already said, out of three, two will continue to be obese. So the intervention is now, not later. So children also have to realize that, okay, I'll do later the physique. I'll reduce, I'll do diet when I grow up. No, you need to have these habits now. Now is the time. Thank you. Anything else?
Okay, so first I would like to thank Siddharth's father for like sharing this topic, because I found it kind of very interesting. Because first a few people might have thinking I'm not overweight, I'm just eating food, I'm growing healthy. But then to other people after that, they realize that, oh no, I'm overweighted, and then they start like trying to stop eating, but they can't because it's the like habit. It takes them like if it takes them a while to realize that I'm overweight. Overweight and I should reduce my weight. So thank you.
True.
Anna, after your assembly, I understood something about myself, and that is why I like to eat junk food, especially like burgers and all. And the reason is that it has to do more with my mind rather than the actual taste of the food. So if I could like maybe just control it, then I think it would help me a lot. So thank
True.
you, Anna.
True. Thank you. True.
I have a doubt whether we can have Bonvita. Is it good for health? Bonvita.
What is that? Bonvita. Okay. Okay. See, Bonvita, Complan, and Boost, all these things are actually not a very good source of proteins. Okay, they are made to and they also contain high sugar content. Okay, a handful of peanuts, okay, contains more protein than whatever the amount of Boost or Bonvita. Okay, this as a taste enhancer, you want to take it once in a while is fine, but I'm afraid I cannot say it is healthy. Actually, you can have ragi malt, which is your mother may be preparing. That contains more nutrition than the Boost or Complan or Bonvita.
If Anna, you told that we have to avoid seeing TV and mobiles while eating food.
Yeah.
If we eat healthy food and see TV, it's also okay, Anna.
No, whether you eat healthy food or unhealthy food, that's not the point. The point is, see, when we eat, it's a process. You are sitting in Pathashala. What is happening? You are chatting with your friends. You are eating with your hands. There is so much of you mix the food, you put it in your mouth, you taste that food, you chew it, and then you swallow. When you engrossed in the TV, what happens? You are not paying any attention to what kind of food you are eating and how much you are eating, because your mind is totally distracted and devoted to the TV. That is the whole point. Whether you eat healthy or unhealthy is not the point. See, there are two aspects: eating healthy food and eating while watching TV. Even if you eat healthy food while watching TV is not very good. Okay. Even without watching TV, if you eat unhealthy food is also not okay. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. There is a
So my question. So my question was that, like I've heard that milk is not good for health when after 4 years, but then buttermilk and curd are okay. Then how does that make sense? Because they're all milk or milk products, right?
Yeah. See what happens. Why does the milk becomes curd? So it is acted by bacteria. It is digested actually. What is curdling basically? Okay, the bacteria releases enzymes which makes it curd. The curd is easily digestible. It doesn't require much of lactase. That protein, lactogen, is already converted. That is why it is easy to digest. Though it has come from milk, but the curdling, the part of the digestion has already happened by the bacteria. Okay, and that is why it is easy to consume. It is easy to get digested. And buttermilk is nothing but the curd with water, no?
right.
Can we eat homemade sweets?
Can you eat homemade sweets? Is that the question?
Yes, yes.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. See, I am not telling totally avoid sweets, okay? See, especially children who are obese need to reduce their calorie intake. So sweet contain a lot of calories. That is why they need to reduce. But children of appropriate age, if they can consume homemade sweets at an appropriate quantity, not very high quantity, obviously, it is definitely very, it's absolutely okay to eat homemade food. For example, when we make payasam at home, we take the vermicelli, we take milk, we take sugar or jaggery, whatever. We don't add any hasteners, no. We don't add any harmful preservatives. So it is definitely healthier to eat sweet prepared at home than eating sweet which is prepared by someone else or commercially available. That is number one. But obese children, if you want to reduce your weight, you need to overall reduce your sweet consumption, no matter if it is prepared at home or prepared outside. That is the recommendation. But once in a while eating sweet is also absolutely okay.
Anna. Hello.
Hello, yes.
Yeah.
Anna, I want to ask that whether stress factor is also there.
So you said that if we watch TV and
for
eat
obesity.
it, we get too distracted and not now. But while we're talking and eating also, like when we're talking and eating, doesn't that also distract us?
Yes. So actually, it's a very beautiful question. Thanks for asking that. Very beautiful question. See, in Ayurveda, they say you shouldn't even talk. Okay, whenever you are eating, all your senses have to be concentrated on food. Ayurveda, they believe that. So, as children, my parents discourage talking over the table. Okay, that's a real valid question. Ideally, it should happen. You should concentrate only on food, and then shouldn't even talk. But then it's not possible. We are social animals. Most of the time, we do get to talk to each other only over dinner table. So, but then TV takes your attention to a different level. It distracts you completely. That is why I said, please don't watch TV and eat. But if we can keep quiet alone and eat, that is great. If you can follow that, that will be wonderful. Someone asked about the stress factor. May I answer that?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So
Stress factor.
this is for the question. Like from the senior school, most
Stress
of the senior
factor.
boys here, we go to the gym. So as a lifestyle, we take in more protein. We take in like whey protein, whey isolate, all of that. So as a pediatrician and as a dietitian, so what is your thoughts on whey protein? As in, is it healthy, or because we can't? I don't know. As in, I wouldn't say we don't have access to protein-based food, but substitutes such as whey protein powder, thick shakes, all of that. So is that healthy for us, or what's the take on that?
See, you know how the whey is prepared. No, whey is prepared from after the curdling. That is, when you prepare a paneer, okay, the water which is left out contains whey. Okay, now that is powdered and given to it. It's a very high and very good protein. Okay, whey is good. Okay, but then I have to look up to this. But somewhere I read that I think whey protein is not recommended below 16 years or something like that. Please go through that. I'm not very sure about that. Okay, that is number one. Number two, we need to be very careful in choosing the right brand for whey protein, because there are a lot of spurious and companies with a very poor quality of whey protein. And especially in some gyms, I won't say all gyms, in especially some gyms, whey protein is mixed with the anabolic steroids, so that those people start getting a lot of muscles. If the anabolic steroids are given to children of your age, that is the adolescents, it's definitely harmful. So I would recommend you, first, please reconfirm whether the whey is recommended for your age, because somewhere I read that. That's number one. Number two, go through which brand, which whey protein you are buying from a reliable source. If it is spurious one, then probably it's not really recommended. Whey is otherwise good. Okay, no problem with the whey protein, consuming whey protein. Just confirm with these two things. May I answer the stress part, sir, now?
Yes.
Yeah. Someone asked about the stress factor. See, now stress is something, recently, the legendary cricketer Kapil Dev was giving an interview about the stress in among the cricketers, among the children. I can understand as adults, with so much of, pressures of our demands, we have expectations we have from our life to feel stressed. But who has given stress to our children? I mean, I'm talking about stress obesity among children. If our child is feeling stressed, I think we have to blame ourselves and the kind of school he or she is going. Okay, the very reason we have chosen, one of the very reasons why we have chosen Pathashala is that, they grow in such a free environment. If the child is feeling stress, then we need to think about that part, because that has more consequences than just obesity. Okay, that is number one. Number two, yes, stress does increase the obesity by 2 or 3 mechanisms. Stress reduces the sleep. That is why quality of sleep overall, that is why you tend to accumulate fat. The stressed people, the so-called stressed people, tend to eat more because eating gives you good feeling. Okay, the glucose gives you good feeling. That is why they tend to eat more. These two factors are very important as far as putting on weight in, people with high stress factor. Yes, stress is an important factor in obesity. But if we are talking about stress in children, then we need to think beyond obesity.
So, uncle, you told for below 4 years, milk is better than curd. Only above 4 years, you told curd is better than milk.
No,
Why?
I didn't say that. What I said is, after the age 4, see what happens. We are mammals, right? Humans are mammals. You agree? So mammals, the first food we take is from our mother, that is the breast milk, right? So breast milk it contains lactogen. Okay. So we are born with enzyme lactase, which digests the lactogen. So it breaks up the lactogen and digests for us, right? Now, as we grow old, by 4, the level of lactase enzyme starts coming down. Okay. I said up to age 4, milk is okay. See, pediatricians recommend exclusive breast milk. That is, child should consume only breast milk till 6 months. Okay. After 6 months, you start giving other food apart from breast milk. The baby will consume both the breast milk plus also other foods. Okay. So usually child is recommended to breastfeed up to the age of 2. In these weaning foods, what is called as weaning foods, it is not necessary to include milk, that is the cow's milk or buffalo milk, as a weaning milk. Other things, ragi malt, the rice, the idli, everything, slowly you can start eating it. What I said was, after the age 4, the lactase enzyme starts coming down. So better that after the age of 4, instead of milk, we can take curds. I did not say curd is bad before 4 years. No, I didn't say that. We can feed the curds to even 1-year-old child, 2-year-old child. It's absolutely okay. Tair sadam, we used to eat, no, as children. So it's absolutely fine. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yeah.
First, thank you for this very inspiring presentation. And from my childhood, my father used to say that if we control our taste and tongue, we can control anything in the world. So in this context, taste means that if we control our mind, actually I agree with Aditya, if we control our mind, we can control what we eat, we can reduce the junk food or the food which is harmful for us. But if we lose control of our mind, it means we lost the control of our body. So that's why mind control is very important in the case of obesity. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, one of the slides, I removed it, I edited it. I always tell my patients, because, I do get a lot of women who want to conceive, but they are very, very obese. We call it as polycystic ovarian syndrome. I tell that obesity is not in the tummy. Obesity is here. It's in the mind. You absolutely nailed it. I fully agree with you. If you really want to change, if you can control your mind, absolutely you can control anything. I mean, obesity is a very small thing. Absolutely, you nailed it. Thank you. Thanks for that input.
So thank you for presenting this beautiful presentation. As I've learned, like how to like the food habits, like which food should I eat and which food I shouldn't eat.
Thank you.
My question is that what do you think about caffeine and does it contribute to obesity?
Caffeine per se will not contribute to the obesity, but caffeine, the coffee has so much debate to make whether coffee is good or bad. But I would recommend you not to indulge in too much of coffee at a very young age. But caffeine per se is not known to cause obesity. Okay, but caffeine has its own. See, it's a stimulant basically. Caffeine is a brain stimulant, right? That is why we consume coffee, and that also gives you kind of. It can also cause dependency. Dependency is different from addiction. Okay, caffeine can cause dependency. So as a child, I would not recommend you to indulge in coffee or even tea for that matter. Once in a while may be fine, but then not really recommended. But caffeine per se is not known to cause obesity.
Um, so some people say that if you eat too much quantity of fruits or vegetables, it might lead to obesity. Is that true?
Okay. Okay. Listen. See, vegetables absolutely okay. It cannot cause any problems. Okay. If you are physically very active, fruits are also absolutely fine. I'll tell you something very subtle. Okay. Now, just a disclaimer before answering this question. I'm not recommending you to stop eating fruits. Okay. I'm not recommending, but I'll tell you some truth about the fruits. What has happened is over a period of time, okay, like we are seeing last 3.5 decades. Now, for example, watermelon. Watermelons were available only during summer in our time. Now it's available anytime. How is it possible? It is supposed to be a seasonal fruit. How is it possible? That is being genetically engineered. Okay. They are being genetically engineered to grow anytime. Okay. Now, we used to get particular banana during the summer and particular banana during the winter. Now, all type.
Yeah. We couldn't hear from genetic engineered bananas.
Okay. So what has happened is the fruits are genetically engineered to make it sweeter and tastier. Okay. So obviously a sweeter banana, sweeter apple, sweeter guava contains higher fructose. Okay, that is also a sugar. Okay, so if you consume them in a very large quantity, probably it can cause problems. So people who are on a very strict diet, especially adults, are not for children, please. Again, very obese people who are on a very strict diet, we usually recommend them not to eat these sweet fruits. But for children, I don't think I will recommend you not to eat fruits. I hope I have answered your question.
Oh. Ashwin.
I have a doubt. If we have a obese and we have a drug allergic, do we have any will there be any problems like increasing obesity like that?
No, but see, drug allergy, I mean, probably most of us will have some allergy to some drug. Okay. No, drug allergy has nothing to do with obesity. Okay. It's about eating habits and it's about our physical inactivity. Drug allergy is a totally different issue. Doctors have to be more careful while giving that group of drugs to you. Okay. For example, you are allergic to, say, painkiller called diclofenac, let us say. So doctors will be more careful with you while giving painkillers of that group. So they'll avoid that group and give another group of drugs. It has nothing to do with obesity. Anything you want to add?
Anna, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Every adults have coffee, but children do not have should not have coffee. You're saying, is it?
No. That's what I said. See, these caffeine can cause. See, there is a difference between dependency and addiction. Okay, I'll just explain you briefly. Now, dependency is like, for example, I want to have a cup of coffee every day morning. If I don't take, I will not have any great problems, but I will feel little restless. I feel like having a cup of coffee. But addiction, for example, addicted to alcohol, let us say, by every day he takes alcohol at 8 o'clock, let us say, presume, in the evening. If he has become addicted to alcohol, he will become very restless. His heart rate will go down. He will crave for alcohol. That is an addiction. So caffeine causes dependency. Even that is not very good for children, no? That is why, and it's a brain stimulant. So usually pediatricians recommend not to give caffeine for children, at least till adolescence. If you want but then it has to be in a small quantity. But for younger children, it is not recommended. Okay, it's not that something really bad will happen if you drink coffee. No, but then you have to keep it to very minimum. Even tea, for that matter.
There are two parents with questions. We'll just take the parents' questions first.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So, Miss Megha got
good afternoon. I
Yeah,
just
good afternoon.
am I audible?
Yes.
yes.
I just you were just telling about junk kept at home. So if we reduce that, you said it will be ideal, and we do follow that, so that kids tempted, or we also make it very easy for them to have junk. There's one small point I would like to add to this. When we go to supermarkets, I ask my children to read the ingredients
Yes.
before choosing
Yes.
what they have to have.
Correct.
So that way, they take the choice.
Correct.
And I have been able to achieve this.
That's a That's a very good
Small
habit
suggestion.
to, it's a very good habit to, develop in children to read the ingredients. And if they can just do a research, they will realize how harm it is for them. So it's a very good initiative. It's a very
Yeah.
good suggestion too. Thank you. True.
Thank you.
Shaurya is pairing.
Hello, myself Janvi. My question is, does daily consumption of rice lead to obesity?
See, as South Indian, I'm also a South Indian, though, in our part of Karnataka, we eat a lot of jawar. Most of the South Indian, even in parts of Maharashtra, they eat rice. Okay. Rice alone need not be blamed for obesity. There is a lot of misconception about eating rice associating eating rice to obesity. What has happened is even the kind of rice we are eating has changed. That is to be blamed. It's a highly polished rice, okay, which doesn't contain any nutrition. The outer cortex is totally removed to make it white, and we consume only carbs. That is the problem. The rice alone need not be blamed. And if you can balance rice with good protein, like it's a papu, dal, vegetables. Rice is a staple diet for whole of South India in large quantity. But the how we process the rice is something to look into. Okay, actually, if you go vis-a-vis, the wheat contains gluten, okay, whereas rice is gluten free. If you can reduce the polishing of rice, semi-polished or unpolished rice, if you can eat that with good protein and vegetables, it should be absolutely okay. But millets, of course, contain, why we should encourage millets over rice or wheat? Millets contain higher quantity of fiber. They contain higher quantity of proteins. They contain higher micronutrients, and they contain iron, higher quantities than the rice and wheat. And their glycemic index is much lower than rice and the wheat. What is glycemic index is when you consume any food, at what rate it releases the food. See, for example, if you eat sugar, okay, direct sugar or jaggery, it releases the sugars directly into blood within minutes. Okay, so they have a very high glycemic index. Whereas if you consume millets, it releases the glucose at a very slower rate, and that is why its glycemic index is low. So we should choose millets or other foods which have low glycemic index than high glycemic index food like rice and wheat. But then blaming rice alone for our obesity, I would not agree.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So shall we close it now, doctor? Would it be all right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah. Thank you so much.
Hello, sir.
It's been really very inspiring. Would any? Oh, there's one more parent. Okay, one more parent.
Yeah.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, it's a meaningful instruction you have given, sir. So one is my child is more, he wanted chapati every day. Without this, he can't. What about it? We should follow, we should cut down, or we should go for other foods like that. So,
see,
the
that's
balance?
what, sir. Yeah, that's what. See, we need to balance, we need to change. See, the change in children is not going to happen in one day. Okay. We have to be persistent. We need to be innovative. We need to suggest him other foods. Okay. Maybe see, jawar roti, if we can make it tastier, and then with other sabjis, and if we can change his habits slowly, I'm sure if he understands this concept, he will cooperate. I'm sure he's going to reduce only carbs diet and switch to high protein and more nutritious and tasty food. It is not going to happen in one day. We need to be very patient as parents also. We need to be very patient and we need to be persistent. Instead of coercing them, we need to be persuading them to, and the children need to realize why it is important for their health. And when they do that, I mean, we just have to be patient for that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Really
you, sir.
good.
Yes. Sir, Sir, I have a question. I'm Ghanvi's father.
Yes, sir.
It's not a question. Basically, just wanted to add on to the rice portion of the discussion what you had. In RNR is a variety of paddy that you get. Okay, that is 14058. That's a seed number. Okay, that variety, when you do a parabolic process, in Tamil they call the ponni boiled or pulungalarsi. So in that process, I am supplying to few diabetic. I can say they supply this diabetic kits. So when I have tested, they said it varies between the GI varies between 55 to 60, which is good compared to the raw rice or steam.
Yeah.
So for diabetic patients or people who are suffering with the diabetics, they are not advised to have rice. So this they are using it because it's having low GI.
Yes.
This is something that I just want to add so that
people... That's what, sir. That's what, sir. I fully agree and thank you for this input, because I told, see, many people blame only rice for that, but the type of rice you eat and the way we process the rice is more important. I fully agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Tarashwani spelling.
Good evening. Am I being audible?
Yes, please.
Good evening. Now, thank you, Dr. and Mrs. Patil. It was a very interesting and informative session. See, when we were growing up as children, like, see, in our adolescence, ever so often we've heard our mothers and grandmothers say, especially to the girl children, they'll say, what you eat now is what is going to help you in the future. I mean, of course, till date, I haven't understood what that means. What I am asking is, does it hold any truth in it? I really would like to know, because what they say is, it will help girl children. Why they say especially because the childbearing and the phases further in their life is, it will be less complicated if you eat proper food at the proper time or right age, which they would say is adolescence. So what will be your take on this, doctor?
Okay, see, when we were doing residency, that is my PG training, my boss used to tell the antenatal care, that is, care of pregnant mothers. When does this start? When the child is conceived, I mean, when this mother, who is now going to be mother, was in her mother's womb, it should start then. Do you understand the importance? Not even after the girl child is born, not just after she gets married, not just when she gets a menarche, not when she gets married, or not when she is going to have a baby, not when she conceives, when she herself is in the womb. So see, now there are very interesting studies. My another pediatrician friend was telling, the child acquires the taste or the flavors which mother used to consume when she's pregnant. Okay, we are talking about that. When the child is in the womb itself, it starts acquiring the flavors. So it is going to have the similar kind of habits or similar kind of taste buds which her mother or his mother has eaten during her pregnancy. Okay, it is scientifically being proven. It's not something hypothetically put forward. This is number one. Number two, definitely children, adolescents, and adulthood. How the transition is going to be, and the adult life is very much reflective of that path. So there is no question that the habits have to be inculcated in children as early as possible. Okay. See, the Shilpa was just telling, till 2 years, we are not supposed to allow children to have any kind of screen. Okay, that is going to have developmental problems. So from then onwards, to inculcating healthy eating habits and to have a healthy lifestyle in adolescence and go on to become a healthy adult life. So definitely it's a metamorphosis. It has to be in that path. You cannot suddenly, I already told, you cannot be suddenly a very obese child and suddenly become a very healthy, fit young adult. No, it's not going to happen. So it is very important since very early age, we put forward these healthy habits.
That was enlightening. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
This has been quite an extraordinary session. I can't think of another session in a long while now that's created this kind of reflection, doctor. Thank you so much. There's so much wisdom
you,
in
ma'am.
what you're saying. And like
Thank you.
one of the students said, I think it's very, very, I think it's very significant because you're practicing what you preach. It's really valuable.
Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being a parent. And do please suggest to us other topics and anchor them. It's really lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dr. Shilpa.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Though we didn't hear you, like Doctor
No,
said, I think many of the ideas were yours.
Yeah, she had prepared a lot of slides for me, but then, I am the one who talks. So she has allowed me to talk. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye. Thank you.
Okay, can we sit erect?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.